I was actually born in Cuba. I'm actually an immigrant. My family fled communism back in 1960. And I can tell you that the things that happened when Castro took power, number one, you lost your freedom to bear arms. Number two, you lost your freedom of the press. You lost your freedom of expression. And you also were indoctrinated. And so one of the things that I asked my father, some years after I came here was, Dad, how come, what made you decide to come to the United States? And he said, son, you came home one day and it was clear to me that you're being indoctrinated. And for me, it was much more important that you live in a land of freedom and opportunity than to keep our lifestyle. And by the way, we were upper middle class. When my father came here, and my mother came here to the United States back in November of 1960, they came here with $10 in their pocket and a watch, and that was it. And they started anew. And so it wasn't about an economic flight, it was about a flight of policy, politics, communism, socialism, the pure rejection of communism and socialism. I want to thank the leader for recruiting me to come to Congress. And the reason I came to Congress is to fight the ideology that's being pitched here by the other side. I'm here to fight the squad and what they think is their theory of how things could be better in the United States. Well, I live that theory, okay? And that theory doesn't work. It hasn't worked in Cuba. It didn't work in the Soviet Union. It's certainly not working in Venezuela. It's never worked anywhere, and yet they're pitching it to us. And so remember the things I told you. Freedom of the press. Yes, you still have freedom of the press. Freedom of expressions. You see more and more censorship happening right now. They're trying to take away our gun rights. And so be careful about the things that are being espoused by the other side. We see it very clearly on this side because we lived it. And so we know what the next step is. And don't believe that it can't happen here. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that what happened to me in 1960 doesn't happen to my children or my grandchildren in the future, where they're going to have to leave this country for somewhere else to find freedom. And that's what we're here to do, fight for freedom. And again, thank you, leader, for showing your commitment to liberty and for a free Cuba. Yes, we're commemorating 119 years of Cuba's liberty, but Cuba isn't free. And just ask, the millions of people that live there today, and you can't ask, but there are tens of thousands of people that have died trying to leave it. Now, what country forces their people to stay and doesn't give them the right to leave? Well, I can tell you one country, Cuba, all right, where again, tens of thousands of people have lost their lives in the Straits of Florida trying to leave that country. If it were up to Ocasio-Cortez and her group, the squad, that's paradise. Cuba is paradise. It's no paradise. It's equality. Everybody's equal for sure. They're equally miserable in Cuba. And so if you want misery, go ahead and follow what they want to give us.